And the guns are off.
It looks like it. Yes!
That is another meet record.
And she looked fantastic.
Putting his foot on the gas here, and he is going to take the win.
Welcome back to another episode of Pending Ratification, hosted by yours truly, Keenan Gray. Of course, you can catch all of these episodes on your favorite streaming platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or even YouTube. And you can, of course, check out these episodes on runnerspace.com. In this episode, we had an opportunity to catch up with Sean Freeze out of Minnetonka High School in Minnesota. Sean Freeze, last year as a junior, All-American at Foot Locker, was just a couple spots shy of making the Nike Cross Nationals Heartland team. But he joins us here on this program, not just to talk about, some of his success he's had from his junior and, of course, the beginning of his senior season, but did you know he was a very, very good swimmer back in his day and also loves playing pickleball? So let's dive into this episode with Sean Freeze. Mr. Freeze. I feel like that's an appropriate name for you, Sean. I don't know if you're a big Batman fan or not, if you've seen the Batman movies.
I'm fine being called that.
Mr. Freeze, we'll go with it. Sean Freeze, welcome to the program. How you been, man? It's been a while. The last time I think you and I actually, chatted was Roy Griak last year. And for me, that was such a big race for you, kind of like your breakthrough moment as a junior. And things have gone really well since then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks so much for having me on the show. But yeah, I think the last time that we did catch up was Roy Griak of last year. So obviously a lot has happened. Obviously, I've been trying to just kind of gradually move up and do my thing throughout the past year. But yeah, it's been a long process and a lot of fun.
A lot of good things have happened in Minnetonka so far, and especially this cross-country season. It's already won the Roy Griak Invitational after finishing second the year before, and I believe even ran faster than what Robert Matura ran at that race last year. But, lots of good stuff. I think undefeated campaign so far. So, kind of your first thoughts on how this cross season has gone so far.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how everything has gone this year. I've had solid wins throughout the early season, and now I'm kind of just getting through that kind of, I guess you could call it a lull in the middle of the season, moving towards the state championship, and hopefully me and my team will be able to do something special there. Then obviously I'm really looking forward to the postseason with NXR, then the Brooks meets. So yeah, I'm happy with how everything has gone. I wouldn't say there's anything to be so disappointed about. But yeah.
Hey, nothing to really be disappointed about. Currently ranked number 2 in the Diestat individual rankings. So there's definitely a lot to prove here as we get into the championship season. But we're not here to talk about running. We're here to talk about your life, man. We want to know a little bit more about you outside of the sport. So tell me, what's a big passion of yours is actually swimming. And that's kind of how you got your athletic career started. You started swimming in the 2nd grade, and that seemed like, that's kind of put you in the position where you're at now. And, from an athleticism standpoint, like swimming is one of those sports that you have to be really fit and you have to be really dedicated to it.
Yeah, so I started swimming in 2nd grade, kind of following in the footsteps of all my older siblings. So, yeah, kind of just throughout elementary school and middle school, swimming was always my main sport, and then running didn't really start to take over until really like 8th and 9th grade. So yeah, swimming's still a big part of me, and I always, look very fondly on swimming. I still swim throughout all the winter on the high school swim team, but yeah, obviously I don't swim year-round anymore, but it still holds a really special place to me.
What's so special about swimming? Like what kind of drew, you kind of talking about a little bit about the details, your siblings have been involved, your dad swam when he was younger too. Just what about it, drew you towards it?
I always look upon swimmers very positively. I think that it's a really grueling and tough sport, so I think that participating in that sport has made me a much tougher runner. And also, just it's really hard not to do something when all your older siblings are doing it. That's older siblings are always pretty influential to how you are and how you act. And for me with swimming, it was no different. It was really easy to just follow in their footsteps, join the local club team, then really just try and work up from there. I've never had as much success in swimming as I had in other sports, especially in running. But I think that just because you're not always like the greatest at something doesn't mean that you should give up on it. Even if you are really good at other things, like you don't have to be really good at something to have positive consequences from that. Which is why I continue to do it even now.
What has swimming taught you as, not only as an athlete, but as a person, and how you kind of approach life in general?
Um, I'd say mostly during the winter. I mean, the high school swim calendar is pretty loaded. We have quite a few morning practices and afternoon doubles. So usually when you're in the pool for 3 hours, you get pretty good at prioritizing your time and figuring out how to manage things both inside the pool and also out. So I think that me participating in swimming has made me into a much more productive person, especially when it comes to kind of tackling schoolwork in a timely manner. But it also, again, like I already said, it makes you into a much tougher person, and somebody that's able to tackle a lot more things, and just kind of do what you want to do, and do whatever you set your mind on.
In some ways, has was swimming like, other than impact obviously being a huge part of your life, but like, did swimming take up a lot of your time? Like, were you able to have a social life outside of swimming? Were you able to go do some other activities? Like, what were some things that you enjoyed doing aside from
hmm
swimming?
Yeah, I mean, I love hanging out with all my friends. During the summer, actually, I mean, you can't really do this in the winter in Minnesota, but the
It's a
summer,
little cold.
yeah, I'm a big pickleball fan, so
Okay.
I love playing that with my teammates and friends. Um, but yeah, that's another thing that kind of comes along with swimming too. I guess to add a little bit more to this, is the team culture is so great and close that like every Wednesday we always go to somewhere out to eat for dinner. Usually it's pretty low key with just going over to Culver's or Chipotle are kind of my two favorites. But yeah, always making time to hang out with friends and have some fun is something that you can't ever sacrifice.
Yeah. Do you have the best memories at swim practice or at swim meets?
Definitely swim meets. I think some dual meets that I've swam in can get pretty heated, especially with some good rivalry meets. We have a big swimming rivalry with Edina, uh, so both. I think it was last year, or maybe I think it was last year. Both of the swim teams ranked top 10 in the nation, so that was a pretty tense dual meet. And obviously one that I'll remember.
I generally have never been to a high school swim meet before, partially because my high school never offered swimming as a sport in my high school. What's it like? I mean, especially, if you have two nationally ranked teams, like, and I don't know
hmm
how that's dictated either. I mean, what's it like?
Um, so I'd say like if you think of a track dual meet, a swimming dual meet's kind of the complete opposite. I honestly wish that uh, track would kind of take a page from swimming's book,
Hmm.
but all the varsity swimmers will always like race in dual meets and they get taken very seriously.
Hmm.
Even though similar to in running, like nothing really matters until you get to those like state qualifying meets.
Hmm.
Um, Still though the competition is just top notch at dual meets. And I think they're also way more fun to watch than track meets.
Really?
Just yeah, I can't really stand sitting in the stands for 5 hours at a track meet usually, especially if
Not
I'm
even if
not.
it's like, Olympians and pro athletes?
Then maybe it's a little bit different, but on the high school level, I think it's important to kind of get the timeline running along. Uh, Especially if you're not like participating in the meet, it's nice to have a dual meet last only like 2.5 hours. What was the second part to your question? I can't really
Well, in terms like
remember.
just like what makes these swimming dual meets so intense? Like what
Oh
brings
yeah.
what about the energy?
I think it also might have a role. Club swimming is very big in Minnesota. Um, so a lot of people will know other swimmers on other high school teams, which I think like having those friendships between those team members makes it a
Hmm.
little bit more acceptable to be a little bit more aggressive towards them, which can lead to some pretty interesting trash talk, I'd say. But
What is swimming trash talk like?
I couldn't fill you in on every detail
Your
there, but
cannonball sucks. You
I can
can't
I can
dive as
refer
good.
I can refer you to some people that could fill you in a little bit if you want me
Okay, I
to.
because I would genuinely be curious, and I don't know if I would laugh or I would just love to hear what swimming trash talk
Hmm.
would sound like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not always as flashy as uh let's say you have like Noah Lyles on the press stand.
Hmm.
It's not always as flashy as that, but yeah.
I got to assume then you tuned into a lot of the Olympics this last summer with the swimming, and of course the United States always has a presence there. But gosh,
Hmm.
the French really came to play, and I'm blanking on the guy's name right now that had such a
Yeah.
really good. Uh, maybe you probably know the guy's name off the top of your
Yeah,
head.
Leon Marchand.
Yeah, just
He's pretty.
what about last year's Olympics was just so exhilarating and exciting, and why should people be ready to watch this when the games come to our home soil right here in Los Angeles?
I mean, the Olympics always bring out the best athletes in all the different sports. When you have somebody like Michael Phelps praising another athlete, I think it's pretty evident that they're probably doing something pretty special and pretty
Hmm.
worthwhile to watch. And Leon Marchand definitely is one of the, if is one of the greatest swimmers of all time. Uh, I mean, obviously Michael Phelps was way more dominant at this time, but that
Hmm.
also is a factor of just everybody's gotten better, similar to what happens in track. So, yeah, I mean, it's always worthwhile to support Olympic athletes.
Yeah, well, Michael Phelps, arguably one of the most decorative. I think he is the most decorative Olympian athlete of all time. I mean, gosh, you have to go back. I think his first Olympics was what, Athens in 2004, I
Sydney
believe.
actually, Sydney,
So Sydney, yeah, so Sydney
yep,
back in well,
2000.
so 2000. I mean, this guy was competing his last Olympics. Was it Tokyo? Was it Tokyo?
No, his last one was actually Rio.
Yeah. So I mean,
So,
16 years of competitive swimming, and you're able to rack up that many medals
hmm,
is just
yeah,
it's
he's a
hard to
beast.
put in perspective just how dominant Michael Phelps was. So I gotta think then, with LA 2028 hosting Olympics, you want to go watch some swimming there? You want to make the trip to LA?
I definitely probably would make the trip.
Well, you're
I'd
also going to be
probably.
in Stanford by the time there as well. You'll be in Palo Alto.
It's true. It makes the trip a little bit shorter, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would definitely want to if I was given the opportunity. Pop out and watch some swimming. Probably also watch some track as well.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Olympic events that potentially be one in the future, pickleball, as you mentioned early on, has been a
Hmm.
big interest of yours. I want to quiz you. Do you know where pickleball was invented?
That I don't know. That's an interesting question.
It was invented in Bainbridge, Washington.
Wow. I
The
couldn't tell
reason
you.
I'm telling you that is, well, I'm
Okay.
from Washington, so that's my
Hmm.
little claim to fame is to knowing that pickleball is from my home state. And I've been playing pickleball a lot my entire life. I had a pickleball court growing up in my backyard with my
Hmm.
parents. We played a lot. So, how did you kind of get involved with pickleball?
I don't know. This is kind of a odd story, I guess, but
This is
my
what this is
mom
for.
one of exactly. So a couple of years ago, I think it was when I was probably sometime in middle school, my mom for Christmas bought like a pickleball net and
Hmm.
paddles. And we live on a cul-de-sac, so there's
Hmm.
uh very little traffic, which is quite the nice feature.
Hmm.
But that let it, we would basically span the net across the street and then draw with chalk like lines to make the
Hmm.
court. So I would always play against like my brother and my dad and mom quite a bit. Um, and then I probably played quite heavily with them for like probably a year and a half, and then it
Mm-hmm.
kind of lulled out as things usually do. And then it was probably like 2 years ago I started playing with my one of my teammates, Simon, and
Mm-hmm.
he's insane at pickleball. He's probably the greatest. Well, that's not true. He's probably the second greatest player I've ever seen
I
play
was gonna
or
say he's
played
the
with.
greatest pickleball player of all time, and he's still in high school.
Yeah, exactly. But he's definitely the second best player I've played with, and I'll tell you who the first one is. But before I get to that, yeah, we just started playing one summer day. I'm like, dang, you're pretty good at pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it just became something that like me and all my teammates did uh, during a lot, wasting a lot of summer hours. But yeah, then yeah, the best pickleball player I've ever played with. I was also with Simon on this team, and it wasn't
Oh,
fair because Simon was on the really good players side.
okay.
Then I was with I can't remember who, but we were just at a random park, so all the courts were full too, so they were doing like normal mix-ins. So he jumped in with us, and we didn't. Me and my teammate, we didn't score a single point the entire game.
Wow.
And that guy, the really good guy, had the serve, and just we were able to return it a couple of times, but he was just dominant. I don't even think Simon had the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to hit the ball very much, but yeah, it was pretty eye-opening and breathtaking to witness.
I don't know if you had a chance to watch pickleball. Maybe I think they've had pickleball on ESPN the last couple years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was on like they have the ESPN the Ocho Day where they show pickleball.
Exactly.
And, I mean, I kid you not, man. I mean, it's especially when you play doubles. I mean, it's the serves and just the quickness and the twitch that everybody has that are
Mm-hmm.
playing in that a smaller court because compared to a tennis court way smaller than what you would normally play on, and
Yep.
it's so high paced, and honestly it's for everybody. Like I mean, you don't have to be the greatest athlete of all time to go play pickleball. Like
Yep.
it's then I think that's what makes it great, right?
And it's such a I don't know, it's such a interesting like because even though he was so much better than like all of us were, we were still able to play with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it is incredible watching like professional pickleball, the reaction time that those players have, and just how aggressive they get when they're right outside the kitchen. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a fun game to watch.
Has Minnetonka had their own little tournament? Has the team have done something?
So we have a team training camp that goes up north Minnesota,
Mm-hmm.
and last summer we played it quite a bit, but it wasn't like an official. Well, we have a decathlon where
Okay.
uh, we have a bunch of different like events. One of them is just a normal running race. We have like our alumni run at the start of the season,
Mm-hmm.
and we score that to contribute to decathlon points. But then there's also like dodgeball, there's
Mm-hmm.
volleyball, there's like dock to dock swim. So there's lots of different events in that.
Mm-hmm.
Last year pickleball wasn't one of them, but we played it a ton at camp. Then this year our coach did add it to the camp agenda, but we usually run out of time
Mm-hmm.
when we're up north, so we didn't get all the way through the tournament. But uh, yeah, we definitely play it a lot and quite heavily.
And how many matches have you won against them? Are you undefeated against these guys?
No.
Oh, is there
Besides,
somebody else on Minnetonka that's good?
so Simon always beats me.
Okay.
Uh, James, who's also already graduated, he usually beats me. Then Dylan, who's also graduated, he beats me. I don't know if anybody currently on the team besides maybe. I mean, obviously you don't know who any of these people are, but
Mm-hmm.
if they happen to watch this, Ben and Charlie, I think they give me a run for my money pretty often.
All right.
But those are probably the two guys on the team that I'd be pretty worried about.
So outside of the Minnetonka circle,
Hmm.
is there somebody out there that you would want to play or has a partner that is also, a nationally relevant distance runner at the high school scene?
I don't know on the high school scene. I mean, I know that you play pickleball now, so
I don't count myself on the national high school scene, man. I'm never going to be on the level
hmm
that you're on.
I know, but well, I just can't really think of too many other pickleball players that I've
Hey,
heard
and
of.
it
I
won't have
need a
any experience. Like you could just play. You could say Caden Leonard. You could say Marcelo
okay.
Fanzicon. You could say Jackson Spencer. Like it could be anybody out there.
Go with Jackson Spencer.
Hey,
I've never really talked to him, but I'm sure he'd be a fun person to play pickleball with.
hey, he's number one in the country right now. You're number two. It
hmm
seems like the perfect match for you guys to be paired up for a fun pickleball.
Gotta meet him some way.
Hey, it's either on the cross country course or on in the pickleball scene. So that would definitely be a very
Exactly.
very entertaining match to watch. But the competitiveness in you, it comes out. Like it's whether it's in swimming, it's in pickleball, running, and it goes all the way back to your siblings being able to push you to your limit, and that's of course being the youngest sibling of four. Even though you have a twin sister, which
hmm
hypothetically speaking, she's 7 minutes older than you, yet she's the same age. That puts you,
hmm
I guess, as the youngest in the family. But how have they made sure that you better yourself as a person and as an athlete?
All my siblings are really well rounded in everything that they do. So, really, whether it be like in a sporting event, whether it be like with schoolwork and like grades and such, we've always just been real competitive, which I think is something that kind of naturally happens. Um, my siblings are incredibly supportive of me, and I have really close relationships with all of them, which I think is really beneficial and really been quite helpful to me, especially because it's always nice to be able to turn to people that are maybe like outside of your team or outside of your friend group,
Hmm.
uh, because obviously your family is always going to be there for you. So I'm incredibly grateful for them always being there for me. But yeah, obviously, with a little bit of friendly sibling competition.
No, it seems like you're, a super competitive person, Sean. And, part of the reason is, you got four older siblings that I'm sure you've had your fair share of battles, whether it's in sports or heck, even just, hanging around the house, fighting for dinner. Who knows? Maybe you guys had to have whoever grabbed the last meal, like, hey, you got to make sure you get there first. But um, tell me, how your siblings have, kind of bettered you as a person, but also as an athlete. Because me personally, I'm an only child, so I will never know what that is like.
hmm
But in your case, you have that experience.
Yeah, I always think that a little bit of sibling competition and rivalry is pretty natural. Obviously, I'm extremely grateful to have really close relationships with all my siblings, and all of them are always really supportive, and it's really uh, nice and something that I'm really grateful for to be able to have them as a little bit of an extra support network outside of just my friends and teammates. So all of them, no matter like where I'm at or what I'm doing, whether it be uh, athletic wise or school wise, are always supportive of me, which is
Hmm.
definitely a great asset to have. Um, and yeah, they always just push me to do my best and to be better. And obviously that's because of that connection that we have.
Who is the one sibling that you really have that connection with? And it could potentially, be your twin sister, which funny enough, you say you're the youngest sibling, but she's 7 minutes older than you.
I think if I don't say Molly, who is my second to oldest sister, I'd probably get in some trouble from her. So I'll go with her.
Okay, backtrack here. Why would you get in trouble?
I don't know. We always just have that kind of joking relationship, I guess. I wouldn't actually get in trouble, just to be clear on everything,
I
but
was gonna say, was she the
uh,
bully when you were growing up?
I wouldn't say the bully. She was definitely the most probably verbal and like straightforward maybe.
Hmm.
But I have a great relationship with her. She goes to school at the University of Minnesota, so I visit her quite often.
Shout out Golden
Uh
Gophers.
exactly. Big one against Nebraska.
I just had a conversation actually with a couple twins that are, we're about to release here on one of our episodes, Jaslyn and Callista Garmer. What is it like having a twin? I mean, is there similarities between you two? Does she run? Does she also swim? Does she have
Hmm.
a big love for pickleball as well?
Yeah, she did swimming with me while I was growing up. She doesn't do any running,
Mm-hmm.
but we were very often on the same club team growing up. So with that, we were very competitive in swim practices, and obviously having somebody that's the exact same age as you obviously pushes you a lot. Like even I can remember we were in the same kindergarten class, and we would sometimes kind of compete to see, like, there is obviously this was in kindergarten, so don't think I'm stupid when I'm saying this, but there is an assignment where you would literally just write out the numbers going from like 1 to 100, or 1 to like however as high as you could write out,
Mm-hmm.
and we would always try to see who could get to the higher number. So definitely
And who
just a
did?
little bit of competition there. It kind of switched back and forth throughout the year. I think both of us kind of had our highs and our lows throughout kindergarten. I don't know who the eventual champion there was.
So you're always this competitiveness is everywhere, man. I mean, this is and I honestly I got that sense from you when we actually talked last year at GRIAC. I don't think you were satisfied with the second place finish at GRIAC. Like I
Hmm.
really don't think. And I know Robert Matura's was probably a little bit ahead of you in terms of, talent, and he was obviously a little bit older than you, but you were not satisfied with finishing
Hmm.
second. And look where it's taking you now. I mean, not only a Roy Griak champion, of course, this year, but last year, Foot Locker finalist, All American, I should say. You were just a couple spots away from qualifying for the NXR Heartland individual team. You look at some of the breakthrough moments that you had throughout your cross country career, and especially last year. Roy Griak was that moment. I felt like that you kind of took that next step and realized this is where I progress as an athlete and go to the next level.
Yeah, Roy Griak was definitely a special moment last year. Uh, as you said, I mean, I always go into races with the goal of winning it. Obviously, that's not
Hmm.
always the most realistic goal. Especially, I mean, last year at that point of the season, Robert was definitely well ahead of me in
Hmm.
terms of his speed and everything. But no, I wouldn't say that I was disappointed with how Roy Griak went last
Hmm.
year. I probably wasn't satisfied though. But yeah, I mean, I always kind of tried to just get into races and see what happens. But yeah, Roy Griak was definitely a breakout last year. I think Foot Locker Midwest Regional was definitely a very good race that I had last year. That was also kind of a little bit eye-opening as to what I could
Hmm.
maybe do then at the national meet. But obviously throughout my running career, I've had many different uh, races that have really stood out to me as ones that have been more impactful or more eye-opening than others.
Hmm.
And I like even going all the way back to eighth grade. My first ever high school race was just racing like the JV race at the conference meet.
Hmm.
Um, and I ended up winning that race, which got me my spot on varsity, which allowed me to run on the state team that year, which was just an incredibly good experience to have at that age, and also kind of the moment that made me think of myself as someone having like a potential future in the sport.
Yeah, and you've really, as I said, you've taken that next step and have gone well beyond of where you were at last year. And as I said, it showed at Roy Griak. I mean, and it's also showed at the Augustana Twilight. I mean, you and Micah Peters have having some really good battles this year, which
Hmm.
I feel like is going to set up for a really good NXR Heartland race here in just a couple weeks in November. But I mean, you kind of just look at the Heartland region as a whole. I mean, for the last couple of years, I mean, especially last year's group, I honestly, in my opinion, might have been the best group that the Heartland region has ever sent to
Hmm.
Nike Cross Nationals. But then, years before that, you have Simeon Birnbaum, Jackson Heidish. I mean, these are guys that are now racing at the next level, especially a guy like Simeon Birnbaum, who's running 352 for a mile. The
Hmm.
Heartland region has, jumped up a notch, and you yourself have probably realized that, like, yeah, I have to do that for myself too, right?
Yeah, the Heartland region always is extremely talented
Mm-hmm.
and has some incredible runners that always qualify for NXN each year. Qualifying for NXN this year is not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for anyone. And that's just kind of the nature of how the course is, the competition that's there. Uh, it'll always be a challenge, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously I look forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're not even mentioning the fact that the state of Iowa has like 5 guys that make a really good case that can make that Heartland
Yep.
team as well. So I mean, it's going to be a complete gauntlet when you guys go embark on the Yankton Trails course in Sioux Falls here in just a couple weeks. But with all the success that you've had, it has led you to earning a scholarship to go run at Stanford University this next fall. Tell me a little bit more about what that opportunity kind of presented itself. I know Coach Ricardo Santos has done a really good job with that program. Of course, bringing in the young twins, the development of Cole Sprout, the development of Charles Hicks. I mean,
Hmm.
there's a long line or a long list of athletes that have gone on to have a lot of success in Palo Alto the last couple of years.
All of the schools that I was looking at kind of throughout the recruiting process, I thought did a really good job at balancing both academics and running. But then Stanford really stood out to me as being obviously one of the best academic schools in the country, but then also, as you mentioned, developing such great runners throughout the years. And obviously, Coach Santos knows what he's doing and has done an incredible job over the years at not only developing great individuals but also developing great teams. And obviously, I can't I can't wait for those 4 years.
I take it you're not. Well, I was gonna say, I take it you're a very smart person because not everybody can get into Stanford. What's your GPA right now?
I don't know if I should share that. I'll be honest with you, but I'm definitely it's pretty good. I'm
It's
pretty
over 4.0,
strong
isn't it?
academic. Yeah. But yeah.
Hey, they don't just allow anybody into Stanford. They gotta allow the smart guys into
Hmm.
Stanford. So what type of career do you think you kind of see yourself pursuing down the road?
Right now, I think I put my major on the application as mechanical engineering. Obviously, you
Mm-hmm.
can change that throughout the first few years, but um, STEM skills have always STEM careers have always interested me. Um, like even now in high school, like I'm taking differential equations, which is obviously a class that's really challenging me a
Mm-hmm.
lot, but it's also one that I find very interesting just because of kind of the problem solving techniques that you go through. And again, I just think that you can apply that to a lot of things, not only with like modeling and such, but
Mm-hmm.
also just the skills that you learn from it being more persevering and working through hard problems.
Hey, there's some sort of math involved with pickleball a little bit too. You gotta, think about the angle you're hitting the ball at, how you gotta get the ball over the net. There's some STEM stuff that involved with
Exactly.
pickleball a little bit.
If you think about it, everything's a differential equation. Everything can be modeled.
We're all living in a differential equation.
Hmm.
I think that's the best way to put it there. So,
Precisely.
as going down the road, Sean, here, as I said, you got the Minnesota State Championships here coming up pretty soon, which I believe is going to be at the same course that GRIAC hosted, which I also believe might be the last time that they have the Minnesota State Championships there. What's that moment going to be
Hmm.
like for you? Your last time racing at the Les Bolstead Golf Course. Not only, for you, but for a lot of these athletes, this might be the last time. This is a historic course in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, it's gonna be an extremely special moment for me and for probably a lot of runners that have uh, not only are running now but have run in the past and know kind of the history that's uh, happened there at Les Volstad. Um, it's gonna be special for me because obviously I want to kind of leave my mark uh, and kind of I guess end it with a good performance. Then
Hmm.
obviously team-wise, we're hoping to do the same and hopefully do something special, and something a little bit unexpected. But uh, obviously, state meets are always great atmospheres and great moments.
I'm just going to ask you this because I don't necessarily have the knowledge per se, and I don't even know if I have the resources to look it up. Do you know what the all-time fastest time is at Les Bolstead?
So it's interesting. The GRIAC course is slightly different than the state meet one.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the fastest time for the GRIAC course is. For the state one, they've actually only done it 3 years, so I've run at all the times that it's been there for the state meet. And I believe it's a 15:03 from Robert last year.
Does your fitness tell you right now you can go sub 15 on that course?
That's definitely my goal. Something I'm definitely hoping for. Obviously, I never get too focused on the time in cross country, but I would definitely be happy if I went sub 15.
Yeah, and what a way to close off your Minnesota high school career, at least on the cross country scene, before you're going into the national championship scene, to run a sub 15 at the Les Bolstead golf course, which I've had the pleasure of being there. Of course, I was there at GRIAC last year. That is a hard course, and that is one of the more challenging courses in the United States. So to run under 15 minutes is a tall task, but hey, if your eyes are set on it, man, there's no doubt in my mind you can go for it. But where can people find you on social media, man? Like where can people kind of keep on track with you and going on your life, but also see what's going on in your running world?
Yeah. I mean, I have Strava and Instagram are probably the two platforms that I'm most active on. I never get too into Strava, but all my runs are there. I don't put in any work though beyond that. I never title them, never put any captions, so pretty basic there. But it gives you a little bit of a picture. Then I also have an Instagram account.
Yeah, what's the Instagram handle?
I believe it's Sean_Freeze, but I could be wrong about that. But
You could change it to Mr. Freeze.
I could, but I don't know. I'm sure if you search up Sean Freeze, you should be able to find it.
I would think. Well, initially people probably thought, and I thought this too, it was Sean Fries, but no,
Yeah.
it's Freeze.
I wish that my last name were pronounced Fries. I think that'd be way cooler, and I'm a big French fry fan too, so that
What's your
probably
favorite
helps,
type of
but
French fry then?
McDonald's ones are pretty good.
McDonald's, just the
But
plain and simple ones, no curly fries, none.
waffle, if I had to go with something fancy, Culver's has pretty good curly fries, but usually waffle fries are a smidge better. Um, but yeah, I guess Freeze is also pretty cool.
I'm a big curly guy. Like that's curly fries are where is the route for me. I don't know what
Okay.
it is. Specifically Jack in the Box. Jack
I
in the Box
respect
curly fries might be the best curly fries out there.
I respect that opinion. That's a respectable take.
Well, one last thing I'll ask you before we wrap things up here. One of the things, with this podcast, we're calling it pending ratification. Do you understand what the term pending ratification means?
Well, I guess it would mean like waiting for something to be ratified or
Correct.
put into, yeah.
Yeah. So on that front, and this can't be running related, it definitely cannot be swimming related because you've talked a lot about swimming.
Yeah.
What type of world record would you want to set?
I don't know how much time is in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, but
Okay.
we'll just go after Joey Chestnut.
You're going to go. So the amount of, gosh, it's
Hot
probably
dogs.
what, like 82 hot dogs that he's eaten in 10 minutes?
It's somewhere around there, yeah. I think it's either in the 70s or 80s. That's quite the feat and something that's always been inspirational to me.
Hey,
each 4th of
Marcelo
July.
Manticon said something pretty similar, but instead of hot dogs, it was Krispy Kreme donuts.
That would be real tough. Real tough.
And he said he would try to eat as many Krispy Kreme donuts in a minute.
Okay, the minute makes it a little bit better because if you were eating Krispy Kreme donuts for 10 minutes, some terrible things would happen after.
Well,
I can't
perhaps
even
when you retire
comprehend.
from running, we might see you on the 4th of July, and I think it's New York. Yeah, Staten Island, I
Perhaps.
believe, too, when they
Yep,
do the Nathan's
correct.
hot dog eating contest. Hey, that could be your future, man. Hot dog. If running does not pan out like it wants to, hot dog eating contest might be the way to go. So, Sean, really appreciate your time, man. Good luck the rest of this cross country season, and congratulations on all the success so far. Hopefully everything goes well, and hopefully we'll be able to catch you at Nike Cross Nationals this fall.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
My thanks to Sean Freeze for joining us on this latest episode of Pending Ratification. Of course, you can find other episodes here in this series on your favorite streaming platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and heck, you can even see it on YouTube as well. And be sure to be catching all the episodes on runnerspace.com and Athletic TV. Of course, I'm your host, Keenan Gray. This episode is produced and edited by Dakota Sorvillo. Be glad to have you tuned in for the next episode of Pending Ratification.